welcome back to Bosco Campus Vision. Now that we know the plot of the novel Indulekha through the lectures 1 and 2, in today's session we shall move on to the character sketch of the major characters of the novel. And the first character is Indulekha. Indulekha, she is the protagonist of the novel. Indulekha is portrayed as a beautiful Nair girl who, along with religious text and percussion, has studied the foreign language English. She was well versed in Sanskrit, plays piano, fiddle, and knows embroidery. So she is portrayed as an educated, good looking Nair girl, and she was well versed in Sanskrit as well. She plays piano, fiddle, and knows stitching. She is the favorite of the family. Everyone approaches her with apprehension because she is assertive and has an independent nature. This is due to her English education, according to the elder members of the family. So every elder member of the family is uneasy about Indulekha's character because they find Indulekha as assertive. She is confident and she is an independent nature. And according to the elder members of the house, it is because she is educated. She is well versed in English. In a society where girls were not educated like boys, or girls were reminded not to talk loudly or had no choice of marriage and husband, Indulekha appears with a distinct personality. This, according to the author, was to show the advantages of a sound English education to Nair women of South Malabar. So the portrayal of the character in Indulekha, it is unique because in a society, we know that the backdrop of the novel, it is the late 19th century, Kerala society, and at that time, girls or women, they didn't have a voice, they didn't have a say in any matter, even though it is concerning their own marriage or the choice of husband. So at that time, Indulekha, she is confident, she is assertive, she has an independent nature. So this character portrayal, it is of a distinct quality. And according to the author, O Chandu Menon, this character, the character of Indulekha shows the advantages of a sound English education to Nair women of South Malabar. The author, through the novel, glorifies Western culture and admires Western education for its benefit, and it is clear through the portrayal of Indulekha as well as Madhavan. And the character Indulekha fully suggests the empowerment of women through education. And he projects Indulekha as a role model of a heroine who is shifted from reality. Though this prepares her for nothing, for instance, for a job or a separate identity, she is part of the joint family and desires to be the wife of an educated and employed man. But she is strong enough to assert and articulate and to carve out a space for her. So the author projects or portrays Indulekha as a role model, and she is shifted from reality, meaning that she is a counterpart of the women at that time, of the women at the late 19th century Kerala. And the next character is Madhavan. Madhavan, the hero of the novel, is also presented in ideal colors, just like the heroine. He has a remarkable academic career. He passes law examination with a first class. So just like the heroine Indulekha, her lover Madhavan is also an educated man, and he is also presented in ideal colors. He is handsome and dignified. His knowledge is deep and varied. Madhavan dresses up according to the occasion. There are references to ear stud worn by Madhavan and to his long tuft of hair. Both were traditional cultural symbols of Nair. So the ear stud and the long tuft of hair. They were both the traditional cultural symbols of Nair. And during travel, he wears pants and other English type dress, carries pistols. So he embraced both the cultures, the traditional culture as well as the Western culture. He embraced both these cultures dearly, and he was comfortable with it. And he rose according to the occasion. He is portrayed as an educated, reasonable young man who was bold enough to defy the Karnavan of the house himself for not rising up to the changing social life. So, when the Carnarvon was negligent of the changing social conditions, Madhavan was bold enough to stand against the injustices of the Carnarvon of the family. So, he is portrayed as an educated, reasonable young man, and he was bold enough. So, that is the character portrayal of Madhavan. The next character is Sudhi Nambudiripada. Suri Nambudripad is portrayed both as a villain and a comedian. We can say that he is portrayed as a villain because we know that even though he didn't marry Indulekha, he spread the rumor that he had married her, and that leads to Madhavan leaving Malabar to Madras. So we can say that he is a villain and a comedian because the conversation between Suri Nambudripad and Indulekha proves him to be an ignorant person and proves him to be a sort of a comedian. Yes, his meeting with Indulekha reversed the age-old status position of Nambudiris. During conversation, when Indulekha uses I, he is shocked because he still lingers in the age-old hallucination that a Nambudiri remains high and has the right to gain his whim and fancy. So generally, the Nambudiris, they are expected to have excellence in Vedas, mathematics, astronomy, logic, etc. But the character of Sudhi is completely opposite to that. And in their conversation, when Indulekha uses I, he is shocked because he still can't accept that women, they have a say in things, and he simply believes that just because he is superior in caste, all the others, they have to succumb to what he has in his mind, or everyone has to obey him, and women do not have a say in anything. That is his mindset. And he considers women as sexual objects and nothing more than that. He falls for Indulekha, then in her mother, and later in her servant, and talks about the beauty of Indulekha and her mother to the Karnavan. It shows his ignorance and his lack of sensibility as to what to talk to whom. At the same time, Naya characters are shown more sensible. So, O Chandu Menon, the author, portrays Suri Nambudiri as a person ignorant, and he is ignorant even of the traditional learnings like Kathakali or Sanskrit. He is insensible and he fancies the privileges that his caste has to offer to him. And also, we can say that he has not come to the reality of a society that is in transition. So, that is the character of Suri Nambudiripada. And moving on, we have the character Panjamanan. Panjamanan is the Karanavan of the Taravada. He decides all the matters of the joint family. So he is the Karanavan and he decides everything. The Taravats of the period had Karanavans as the central figure. They were unquestioned and unchallenged. The members of the family were expected to be loyal and obedient. And Panjamanan, he is a tradition bound personality who is authoritative but confused at the developments in the family. We know that when Madhavan raises his voice for the education of younger members of the family, the Carnavan, he is feeling threatened and he feels that his authority is slipping through his fingers and he is irritated at that aspect. And he is so confused at the developments in the family. He is a tradition bound personality who is not ready to let go of the traditions. He is against the notion of educating the younger members of the family. When his granddaughter refuses the sambandham with Sudhi Nambudripadu, which was arranged by himself, he even goes to the extent of saying that there is nothing foolish like educating the children in English. If Indulekha was not educated, she would have been a better girl. Meaning, she would have accepted whatever the Karnavan said, just like the other women in the family. So, he is finding Indulekha's education as a drawback in her character. So, that is the nature of Panjamanan. And that brings us to the end of this session. And as assignment, comment on Chandu Menon's portrayal of the characters in the novel Indulekha. Thank you and have a lovely day.